weeks back, I ranked each of the LEGO Ninjago set waves, and yeah, it seems like everyone really liked that. So in the spirit of waves, let's run down each of the LEGO Ninjago waves and pick out the absolute best set. If this one does well, I'll release one looking at the worst. We'll only be looking at seasonal waves, or waves that correspond to the show. That means that multiple release waves that follow under one season will be grouped together. That also means I'll be considering the SKYBOUND sets that came out during the day of the departed wave as SKYBOUND sets. Please do leave a like if you think I deserved it, and now, onto the video. The Pilots was the very first wave, and very well may be one of the best. So as you can imagine, there were a ton of tough contenders fighting for the throne. The obvious one was the Fire Temple, which is an amazing structure. The Lightning Dragon, although simple, is still one of the most impressive dragons still to this day. The Skull Truck was also monstrous. I also could have very well chosen the SPINJITZU spinner sets, as I think they are one of the best LEGO gimmick sets they have ever made. But honestly, none of these even come close to beating out Garmadon's Dark Fortress. This is still one of the most unique sets I've ever seen come from LEGO, which is impressive after 11 years. The design was always so captivating. I don't know what it is, but there's always been something about the structure that was so marvelous to me that I can't put my finger on. The spider was not only a cool play feature, but it looks super intimidating as well. The minifigure selection was also one of the best of the wave, offering one of the only two ways to get Samukai. This one has been on my wish list for years, however I'm afraid I was just a little bit too late to the party. Hopefully I can still get my hands on it somehow. Rise of Stakes still stands as one of my personal favorite Ninjago waves, and for good reason. It includes some of my all-time favorite sets that I would trade anything to have. The Fang Pirate Truck Ambush is one of the coolest looking villain vehicles to date, and the original Destiny's Bounty is extremely iconic. I also personally love the Ultrasonic Raider and think it's the best version of it. I also could have very well chosen any of the 4 original Ninja vehicles. Honestly, there are so many fantastic sets from this line, it was really anyone's game. But I think by far the Epic Dragon Battle steals this show. This is the oldest Ninjago set I own, and it is my prized possession. It is the perfect LEGO set and one I'm still going to be honoring 50 years from now. The dragon itself is incredible and unbelievable for the time. The Great Devouring Ouroboros, Shrine are two of the greatest side builds of all time, and the minifigures are unmatched. I might have paid $220 for this, but I did not regret it even for a second. The legacy of the Green Ninja wave was relatively small, especially in comparison to the previous two. But I was mainly in a kerfuffle between two sets in particular. In one hand, you had the amazing Kai's Fire Mech, which is easily the best $10 set of all time. And in the other, you had the glorious Temple of Light. I know most people may not be too fond of the temple, but personally I really love it, especially the Golden Mech. So I actually went for the Temple of Light to take the spot as the best set of the legacy of the Green Ninja wave. Ah, rebooted, what a great time. Despite many people's typical consensus, I really loved the rebooted wave. The Ninja Copter was a wacky but great futuristic vehicle, and the Nindroid Mech Dragon, which I just received over a month ago, is loaded with details and features. However, nothing could truly stand against the battle for Ninjago City. This incredible structure rocks a vibrant red and green color scheme with no details spared. The interior is arguably one of the best of any temple and just looks so good. The minifigures are a godsend and to die for. Oh yeah, they even managed to throw on the Overlord's mech. What more could you ask for? Seriously. The Tournament of Elements wave is another tough wave to think about, as most of the sets are pretty consistent in quality. So instead of spending several minutes discussing the other candidates, we'll just cut right to it. Enter the Serpent, I feel, is a set that really doesn't get a lot of credit, and I really don't know why. I feel like the big thing that hurts this one is the lack of a television show portrayal. Well, sort of. But the design is genuinely cool. The serpent head is perfectly crafted, and the purple snake body pieces are super useful for mocks. One of my favorite design features is the segment attached to the side by a bridge. It adds a lot more depth to the build. Oh yeah, the figures are great as well, offering only one of 2 ways to get Master Chen. Plus, people have been asking for a Lost City of Ouroboros for years, and this is the closest thing we've got. If you've seen my Ranking the Waves video, then you probably already know my opinion on this wave. There were so many incredible pieces throughout the entire thing. The final flight of the Destiny's Bounty looks beautiful and is easily the second best bounty build to date. The Titan Mech battle was one of the best deals of all time, offering 2 mechs for $60. Wow. Oh yeah, and I couldn't move on without mentioning the 2-star dragons, Master Wu Dragon and Moro Dragon. But with all of this, I feel that the City of Sticks is by far the best set of this wave. The build is not only super impressive, but it uses its piece count extremely wisely. There are also some great side builds like the Ghost Bow that really shine, and overall the entire thing is so worth getting. My pick for the best set of the SKYBOUND wave is actually not from the wave itself, but the Day of the Departed wave. The Lighthouse Siege is honestly beyond me. The way that they were able to craft such a perfect model that unbelievably represents the show version is just incredible. It feels like they straight up ripped out the lighthouse from the show and sold it. You could tell the makers of the set tried their darnest to make the best possible outcome. The figures are loaded from Nauticon to Airjitzu Rogue to J-Nia. To this day, this is still my most wanted LEGO set and I will dream on until I get my hands on it. As I mentioned in my waves video, Day of the Departed is my least favorite wave, but that's not with that 1-star set that keeps the whole thing alive, and that's the Samurai X Cave Chaos. This phenomenal set would literally be the greatest thing to me as a younger kid. They managed to use a Batcave-like style, but Ninjago-fied it to create something even greater. The set includes gel cells, a glider, a mini samurai mech, a bike, and a giant computer. It may not be the prettiest, but with so much chaos, it's a blast of a set. Oh yeah, I only chose this one because none of the other sets even came close. Hands of Time might actually be the toughest one to decide. This is the only wave where I'm constantly shifting around which set I think is better. But I feel that the purest choice here is the Dragon's Forge. I love the Iron Doom as well, but it isn't nearly as impressive even if it's $50 cheaper. The star of the set in the Dragon's Forge personally is not actually the dragon itself, but rather the forge. They managed to fit in so many intricate details as well as a show-accurate interior, and just generally speaking, I have no problems with it. Don't get me wrong though, the dragon is great too. It takes a similar route as the Ultra Dragon, just not nearly as well obviously, and does a great job blending the two colors together. This set also includes the exclusive Rei and Maya, however the Iron Doom also has the Time Twins, who are arguably more important. Again though, I still love the Iron Doom. Most people may not include the LEGO Ninjago movie as part of their list, but with so many of the greatest sets, it would be rude not to mention it. I also feel that it is pretty self-explanatory why Ninjago City won this title, and if you can't figure that out, just take a moment to look at it. It'll come to you soon. Compared to what had came before, Sons of Garmadon was a pretty mid-wave, but that doesn't mean it came without any great sets. Again, I had a really tough time deciding between two sets in particular, specifically the Ninja Nightcrawler and Temple of Resurrection. I went for the Temple ultimately just because it was more unique, but just know that both had a pretty equal chance of success. The Temple of Resurrection mainly benefits from its solid designs and fantastic functions. The way the rocky bottom section and the palace-like top blend together is something that definitely takes a lot of skill, and I admire that. Oh yeah, and the figures just add to the package. Hunted mainly included 3 sets that were over the top in contrast to the rest. Firstly, there was the Diesel Knot. This is one of the most loaded sets in terms of features and is the largest villain vehicle. The Dragon Pit spares no detail and captures the playset-like style. My favorite set, however, has to go to Firstborn. If we ignore the Ultra Dragon, Firstborn may as well be the very best dragon of all time, and I must make it known that I take my dragon judging very seriously. Unlike my Ranking the Waves video, I decided to group together all of the Legacy waves mainly because there was one clear winner throughout all of these. Yep, Ninjago City Gardens is one of the biggest Ninjago sets and arguably one of the best. Oh wait, I'm pretty sure that is undisputed. You know what, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. For the Secrets of Forbidden SPINJITZU wave, I decided to choose 2 sets, one for the Fire Chapter and one for the Ice. For the Fire Chapter, I actually went with the Fire Fang. This thing just looks so ridiculously cool and the minifig selection is superb as well. But for the Ice Chapter, I actually had to go with Lloyd's Titan Mech. This thing just looks so cool and honestly could compete with being one of the best LEGO mechs of all time. A common theme among modern Ninjago sets is that the best sets tend to be villain sets, which is unfortunate because we don't get a lot of them. Prime Empire is one of the leading examples of this, as the 2 best sets, in my humble opinion, are the Empire Dragon and the Empire Temple of Madness. Between the 2 of them, I'd say the Empire Temple of Madness is slightly better, mainly because of its vibrant color scheme, great part usage, and functions, as well as a really good figure selection. However, I'd say the Empire Dragon does have significantly less flaws. Master of the Mountain was the very first truly incredible wave in a while. There were tons of standouts like the Firestone Mech, which did a great job at capturing the asymmetrical design, the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeon, which just looked super awesome and was packed with places to keep minifigures, and of course, Zane's Minor Creature, Can't forget about that guy. But surprise, surprise, I actually think the best set of this wave was another bad guy dragon. The Skull Sorcerer's Dragon. The set did a great job capturing the skeleton design, and the spider ball function was a really cool and great homage to Bionicle or Hero Factory. Forgot which one that was. Oh yeah, $80 too, that's a steal. Most of the sets from the island were pretty close in quality, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably go for the Keeper's Village. I always love it when they make structured sets that aren't the biggest of the wave, and this is a prime example of what I'd expect. I did also like Lloyd's Chopper Bike, small, yes, but surprisingly unique. I also like Lloyd's Jungle Dragon, but I can see why some people don't. Even the Catamaran, which is probably the worst set of the wave, is still pretty good. SEABOUND was another relatively small wave, however despite its size, there's actually some really good contenders. The Hydro Bounty was really good and seems to be most people's favorite, but I wish people would consider some of the other sets as well. I guess it might be a hot take to really like the Temple of the Endless Sea, but I do love the Wojiro build. Honestly though, I have to go with the Water Dragon on this one, which coincidentally is the only SEABOUND set I own. The dragon is just beautifully crafted with some truly remarkable colors. Top that off with a solid figure selection and side builds. This is a set to live on for the ages. Ah, we've made it, the most recent wave. Even though I'm a little mixed on the overall output of this wave, I will admit that there are some pretty memorable sets. I was originally considering the Crystal King, as it is by far the most unique set of the wave and could definitely stand out in my collection. However, after LEGO announced a recent nerf in price, I'm starting to have second thoughts. So, the Crystal King Temple it is. This gorgeous temple really uses its transparent purple crystal pieces to its advantage to create a pretty sophisticated build. It also includes the Crystal King and the 4 original ninja and the golden weapons. But there you have it, the best LEGO Ninjago set of each wave. If you want to see the worst LEGO Ninjago set of each wave next time, leave a like and subscribe. I've really been appreciating the growth of the channel over the past couple of weeks and want to see it keep moving forward. Alright, see ya.